the writing section of your English subject. English subject is basically divided into various sections, like you have your comprehension section followed by your grammar section, then you have your literature section, and then the writing section, right? So writing section is a very important part. It plays a very important part in examination, because this is a section where the examiner actually tests your imagination power. It tests how much creative you are and how much good you are in your vocabulary. So do not take this section for granted, as you can, because this particular section can help you gain a lot of marks. Or if you do not have that much of knowledge or accuracy in English, then this section can be the major reason for your deduction in marks. So you have to pay very much attention in this section. Now in writing section, today we will be talking about email writing. Now email writing is just like letter writing. It's just that before there were no internets, so people used to write letters. But when the technology became more advanced and internet came into existence, then people shifted to email writing from letter writing. So email writing and letter writing is more than the same thing. The format is almost the same. Before internet, there was intranet. Intranet was the network which was just within an organization. You were not able to send a message from one city to another city or from one place to another. It was just within an organization, like within a school or within a college or within a company. So now coming to email writing. Now if I say the language which is used in email writing, language is a little less formal in email writing. Why? Because email writing is basically within an organization or an institution, and if you be more formal, then it will look very awkward, because you're sending email to the person who's just right beside you, right? So therefore the language, you can use slangs, you can use a little bit of informal language, but also you need to be very careful that it does not become too informal. Again, your email writing, your email can be both formal or informal, which is same as the letter writing. Even the format is same. Just the thing is that you do not need to mention your address in email writing, right? Because it is not the letter which has to be posted to a particular address. Here in email writing, instead of writing your house address, you have to write your email address. So that in that case, you have to write address, but not of house, of the email. You have to mention your email ID. Then you have to mention the receiver's email ID. So it is like to whoever. No, it starts from your email ID, that is sender's email ID, and 2 will be the receiver's email ID, right? This is the format of your email. After from and to, we come to subject. Similar to your letter writing, there should be a subject which should be mentioned accordingly, according to the topic or according to the issue for which you are writing the email. And then you have to begin with dear sir or ma'am. Here there is no need to write date. Why? Because if you are sending an email, not only the date, the time will also be mentioned, right? In email writing, because it is computerized, so date and time will automatically be mentioned. So we do not have to write date or time in our email. So this is basically our format of email writing. Again, with dear sir or ma'am, you begin with your email. This will be your body. And in the end, again, you have to mention yours. Sincerely or faithfully or truly or obediently. Of course, we do not write obediently because obediently is just meant for students, and students will never send email to their teachers or principals, right? They have to write an application. A written application must be the format for students. So this is basically meant for the organizations, for the big organizations or the institutions. And then you have to mention your name, and then you have to mention your designation. So this is the basic format of your email writing. Now there are some points that you have to remember. So let's focus on points to remember. Points to remember is that first, your email should contain subject, second, do not make use of too much of slangs or abbreviations. So do not use too much slangs. Now what do you understand by slangs? Slangs are all those words which are not completely belonging to the English language. You just say for the sake of saying, right? Abbreviations are short forms of your sentences. For example, we say e.g., for etc. we say etc. So do not make use of too much of slangs or abbreviations. Then third rule is that emails should be short. And also at the same time, for making the email short, it should not sound that you are being rude. So these are some points that you have to remember while writing an email. This is the format of writing an email. An email can be both formal as well as informal. Formal will have its own tone of speaking, and informal will be just a casual way of talking to someone. And now let us understand an example of email writing through one question. So now let us understand email writing through an example. The example that I will be explaining right now is present in the content section. So when you visit the content section and search for email writing, the same question will be available over there. So you can visit that and have a complete look on the question and the answer that is provided. So now the question says that you have seen a girl being caught in the rain. Now looking at the girl, you are now then reminded of the situation where you were also once caught in the rain. Now you have to write an email to your friend describing your experience, right? Also now there some points are given, and from those points, these points are basically the hints. So from these points you have to write an email to your friend describing your experience. Now before we begin, we know that this is my informal email writing. My email is not formal because it is to my friend. The email is informal. But remember, even in informal email writing and informal, you need to be very specific because it is not a letter. Right? When you're having a telephonic conversation between a person or a face-to-face conversation with a person, you know that it is only between you two and no one else is listening. But in the email, if the email goes in wrong hands and you've written something very confidential over there and very personal, then it can lead to some problem. So while writing an email to some person, you also have to be very specific and you have to be very alert. Now coming back to the question, here I will begin with from. From you can write your name, or if in the question a name has been specified, then you have to mention that name. Now suppose from I say Riya Mehta yahoo.in, yeah, I can say com. Then 2, I can say dhruv@gmail.com. Okay, now Riya Mehta is sending a mail to Dhruv sharing her experience, right? Now after that, subject. Now also there is no hard and fast rule of leaving a line or something, because this is not a letter that you're writing on a page. Everything is from and to, all this is already written. You just have to fill in the information over here. So subject, I can say, is experience in rain. That can be my subject. And then I begin explaining. I will say, recently I saw a girl being caught in rain. It reminded me of my situation when I was facing the same problem. Now further, I can also explain that first I enjoyed being in rain, but then the wind started blowing and it made me shiver. Then I ran for shelter. You know, you can just keep on saying that. So unexpected rain. Then I can also say that I had no umbrella with me or no raincoat to protect myself from rain. So I was all drenched in rain. So I can say I was completely drenched. Then how you felt? I said that earlier I enjoyed, but later the wind started blowing and I started to shiver. Then the other passengers were there, or the other passerbys, they were also completely drenched in rain and they were also moving here and there to look for shelter. Then the conditions of the roads became terrible. All the roads were flooded due to water clogging and whatever you can say. And then the traffic, describing the traffic, you can say that because the rain was it was raining like cats and dogs, the traffic was also slow and the entire roads were then jammed. So as in all, my experience over there was quite, you can say, terrifying. At the same time it was entertaining because I haven't faced such a situation ever before. Like this, you can end with your truly, and then you will write the name that you have mentioned over here. So I will say Riya Mehta. This is how my email is going to end. This was my email's beginning and the body. So here you can also ask about, also share your experience with me and all. So you can also mention that as well in your email. So in this video we have discussed about the format of email writing along with one example that I have made you understand.